Good day everyone, Froggy Picker here. In today's videos I will be picking my favorite lock so far, and funny story is that it's also the first lock that I bought back in October when I started a lock picking journey, and it was from a locksmith in Los Angeles. And he sold me a bunch of these Master 6835 that I picked some long time ago, but also this dimple lock that I identified as being the same model as the ABUS EC700 that recently had some nice video published by Monitor Darkly and Mr. Dark Magic. This is so far my proudest pick, actually, because I was able to pick it blind or without doing some progressive pinning. And so this will be also my entry to DMAC 100 subscriber. I mean, right now I think he's already at 160. And so congratulations, DMAC. You should go and check in his channel. But more on this lock. So what you're going to see here is that this one is a CISA, so a Italian brand, with this 3-band logo. So first of all, when in Europe there is a lot of locks that are rebranded from one brand to the other, and apparently this exact model of lock was originally this CISA Astral V1, and was then bought or licensed by ABUS, and ABUS sold it under the brand ABUS EC700. I will put a picture of the ABUS key, and you will be able to see that actually, even if the cylinder doesn't have the CISA logo, it only has the ABUS logo, the key has these 3 lines that indicate that it's a CISA key, blank at least. And you can see also that the groove in the profile are exactly the same, and you have 6 pins at the bottom, so in the Bible, and 4 pins at the top. And so this is kind of a tricky peak. I will also put some videos of some very zoomed up version of the keyway, and you're going to see that it's exactly the same keyway shape. And also to finalize my study of the internet, or my Google foo, I found that Multipeak has a dimple peak, a special dimple peak tool that is very, very expensive, like I think around 700 euro, that is advertised for both the CISA Astral V1 and the ABUS EC. So the method to pick these locks has been developed by a picker called Decoder in 2014, and very recently both Mr. Black Magic and Monitor Darkly did pick this the ABUS version of this lock, but they did it the reverse way, so with the Bible up. So I will be picking it with the Bible down, normal European version. And also, as part of my pick, I developed a special follower that let me remove the driver from the top and the bottom and repin these things very much more easily than if I only had like a normal driver. And also I will be publishing the tool that I use for the picking part. So this tool is used to push the bottom pin first to let you pick the top pins. So let's go. I will organize this video in two parts. The first part, just coming here, will be the explanation of how the pick is working, and then the second part will be the speed pick of this lock and the gut. I have not yet gutted the lock, so this will be a way to prove that the internal are actually the same as the ABUS EC700. So let's go on to the peak explanation. Okay, so for the first step of the peak, I'm going to use this tool that has a notch here that will leave enough space for the top pin to drop while maintaining the bottom pin down. And it is necessary because my biting is, you can see the first two pins here at the top are really low. So without the notch, it wouldn't work. Also, the lock that I have here is binding, the top pins are binding when I tension it clockwise. So I need to use a second wrench to tension clockwise. And I apply a lot of pressure and I keep my thumb here to get the bottom pin down. Now I can go down the stack and so that was pin 1, pin 2, pin 3, and pin 4. Once I set up the 4 pin, I have a little bit of false set here. And this is very convenient because that means if I'm careful enough, the top pin are not going to drop again. However, right now I can see that the first pin of the bottom is overset. It's completely down. So I need to very carefully release the tension a little bit, just enough to get come on, up, here we are. So I got the bottom pin to climb up. Now I will put, for the second phase of the peak, I will put as much tension as I can on that wrench. And this is why I like having like a very fat, very thick wrench here. And I will go down the stack to see which pin are binding. And here I can see that number 4 is binding pretty heavily. So I'm going to wedge my flag and get a click out of 4. And then number 5 was binding also. And now you can see that I have a very, very large false set. So now I need to and what happens here, I think, is that the driver, because they have bezel or like bevel, sorry, by putting a lot of tension, it's able to push the pins that are nearly there to the right location. And now for the last part of the pin, I'm going to do a little bit of float picking. So I'm going to go from the right of the pin and pick in the reverse direction to clear the last spool that is left. And this is number 6. So I have to go all the way to the back until I find the number 6 here. Oh, here it is. I just passed it. So let me go back. Here I am on it. And I'm able to, here we are, open the lock. So these are the steps that I need to do. So now I will be able to try speed picking it. Okay, that's pretty good. So now let me try to gut this thing. So that will be the first time I'm gutting it. So let's try to keep it in the frame here. Okay, so you can see it's open. I will relock it to get the clip out. Okay. Let me get these guys here. So I have the clip, the key, and so for the occasion I actually built a custom follower. The cylinder here, because the walls are so thick, the cylinder is actually 0.4 inch diameter. Normal Euro cylinder are 0.5 inches. And so I will put a shim at the top. Okay, I think we're pretty good here. And I will turn this thing by 45 degrees, something like this, yep. And now I should be able to push the whole cylinder. So the only thing is, where are the, okay, so I'm going to orient it this way. Okay, let me put my finger on the pins so we don't lose anything. Perfect. Okay. No problem on that side. Okay, so let me just put it here. And now let's have a look at what kind of pin we have. So these are the 4 top pins. And so let me just check. Yeah, so you can see that they're not zero lift. You do need to lift them a little bit. And oh crap, I think I lost one of the pin. It just fell. Okay, so that is what happened when you're doing something like this. Okay, so let me just get it. So this would be number 1 from the top. Okay, then number 2. Then can I get the number 3? Yep, I get number 3 and number 4. Okay, so this is top pins. Now bottom pins, here we have the 6 and they're clearly not okay, so this would be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So there is nothing. Yeah, so the top pin are much smaller diameter than the bottom pins, but other than that, nothing special. Okay, so let me just reorganize this pin in the right direction here. So this is the 4 at the top, and actually I need to shift them by 1 chamber because the first of the top is aligned with the second of the bottom. So here we are. Okay, so now let's have a look at what's in the so I can remove this shim. And so you see what I did here is I included a notch in this follower, and what that hopefully what that can let me do is get the pin one by one. So I will start with the bottom because the first one at the bottom is going to be first. And okay, let me get okay, so I have a spool. Okay, so this is the top, and then under you have normal but with bevel edge. Okay, and can I actually get the spring out? Yep, I can get the spring out. So okay, so that is the spring. Okay, so let me do let me push this guy a little bit more. Okay. Nice bevel spool here, and then normal and the spring here. Okay, so now let me get the number 2 at the bottom. So number 2 is a normal with this bevel. And if it is exactly the same as Mr. Dark Magic, yep, no, so you can see the spring is different. So you have 2 and a spring. Now let me get the top pin here by flipping. Okay, flipping the notch. Here we are. So I get up. Oh mamma mia, this is a really, really tiny spring. That is really impressive. Okay, anyway, let's get the second one from the top, because I'm in the right orientation there. So okay, here we are. So same thing, so this one is a normal, the driver is just normal, and the same tiny, tiny, tiny spring. Okay, now I'm going to flip it to get the number 3 at the bottom. Okay, so it's a normal, and I should get like a long spring. Yep. long spring. Now let's go number 4 at the bottom is another normal in this direction. Yep. And then another of these long spring, I assume. Yep. Okay. Now let me get the top. Okay. I can get the last one from the top, so the number 4 at the top here. So similar, very small driver, normal driver, and tiny spring. Okay, and then now it's kind of easy because I just need to get the number 5 and the number 6. So let's see if the 5, okay, the 5 is a normal, and so the 6 is, when I was doing the float picking at the end, should be a spool. Oh, okay, well, good thing that I only got, okay, I only got the spool, and the normal driver, the second driver, is actually still in the chamber. So you have a spool here, and then the driver, and then the medium spring, I guess. Oh, that was not a good idea to do it this way, because everything jumped. Okay, so let me put it here. Okay. These tiny springs are really super annoying and jumping everywhere. Okay. Well, here we are. I will now do a close-up of the situation. So as you can see, so this is exactly the same structure as the one that Dark Magic or Zero Monitor, Dark Monitor, sorry, I don't remember the exact name, but here it's like, so you have 2 of the bottom pin that have 2 drivers, and the top driver is a spool. Then you have 4 normals, long spring and short spring when you have 2, and then at the top you have all normal driver and all normal pin. So this is confirming that the CISA here, CISA Astral, is actually the original model, and the ABUS EC700 is actually a rebranding of the same lock. So you can see this is, and as I said in my introduction, you can see it because there is this like 3-band, the CISA logo on the ABUS key. So that will be the proof that needed to be done. So anyway, that was the first documented video peak of this lock in the Euro direction, so with the Bible down, speed peak also. So very fun lock to do. Thank you for watching. Remember the rule: only try this at home and leave any ferrule locks to professional. Thank you. Bye.